Southern Metalworks is the stop for deals on pre-engineered metal buildings, pole barn kits, and all metal building components. Financing is available. Southern Metalworks, Highway 51, Southeast Bogue Chitto. Call 601-734-3999.
Buying Dirt is presented by 601 Sports, Bruce Gray Lampro, Casco Cleaning Solutions, Chase Buckles Mortgage Advisor, Culbertson Cattle Company, Culbertson Concrete Pumping Service, Kirk Douglas Heating and Cooling, Levi Patton Farm Bureau, Southern Ag Credit, Southwest Mississippi NDA Branch, Southwest Mississippi Wildlife Expo, and United Country McDaniel Gray Realty.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Buying Dirt, where we talk about everything outdoor and real estate related. Keith, how are you today?
Mostly outdoors. Lately,
We're going to talk
what's
about
coming up on us.
We're going to get back on the real estate.
Big time's coming up.
It all ties in together, right? By the way, speaking of real estate, if you're interested in buying or selling homes or land here in Southwest Mississippi and Louisiana, give us a call. We'll be glad to talk with you. Keith, turkey season is opening.
It is upon us.
It is here, and we are excited. And I know there are a lot of people listening who are excited as well. So we have a special guest with us this morning, Mr. Caleb Hinton. Caleb is the Wild Turkey Program Coordinator for the Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. Caleb, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great this morning. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we're excited to have you. We really are. We wanted to talk about all things turkeys this morning, but more specifically kind of get into the turkey stamp. And so if you will, tell us a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind, just a few minutes about that, and then we'll jump into our topic.
Sure. Yes, sir. Again, my name's Caleb Hinton. I'm the Wild Turkey Program Coordinator for Mississippi Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Parks. I am originally from Southeast Mississippi. I live in Perry County, born and raised, still live there. I got my master's at Mississippi State University, and then I worked in the Delta for a little while. I lived north of Greenwood. I was over all of the Delta WMAs there in the northern half of the Delta there. Then I transferred into private lands program, doing some DMAP, but all the while, turkeys are my passion, 100%. I'm a diehard turkey hunter, all that good stuff. And I always knew I wanted to be in the turkey program ideally, so I always tried to help and assist Adam Butler, our previous Wild Turkey Program Coordinator, as much as I could. And then the position come available, and I was lucky enough to get it. So I'm so excited about it.
Well, congratulations. I know that's a huge honor to have that position. I mean, it's such a popular game animal in our state.
Yes, sir. It really is, and especially the last couple of years, it seems like the interest in it has exploded. But yeah, from a financial and interest standpoint, turkeys are normally second only behind whitetail deer in the state. So.
Listen, I remember the days you didn't see turkeys.
It wasn't that long ago, really.
No, it really wasn't.
And
yes,
it's really changed. And well, on that note, tell us a little bit about where we are in our state. I mean, in terms of the turkey population and the state of our population.
Yeah. Turkey numbers are doing really good right now across the state. Before I always have this talk, people always say, it's important to remember that turkey populations are cyclic by nature. They're going to have some ups and downs throughout time if you look at a graph of their numbers. And back several years ago, probably around like 2019, 2020, we kind of was in a low spot, and a lot of people got concerned, and that's what kind of brought about the change that brought about the turkey stamp, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Right.
But since then, we've had several really good hatches throughout the whole state, and I mean, right now, our numbers are looking really well. The current estimate is over 310,000 birds for the state. Our harvest numbers last year were slightly lower than the previous year, but they were still, that average there is higher than it's been since the early 2000s. So we feel really good about where the state of the bird is right now, and we had another good hatch last year, especially down here in our part of the world, at south of Jackson, another really good hatch for 2025. So we're really excited about where they're at right now.
And I know there's been some talk with the abundance of our big, huge acorn crop this past year that we potentially may have another good hatch. Fingers crossed, right?
Yes, sir. Fingers crossed. But for sure, it should affect the season the hunters have this year. Normally, and research has shown this, whenever you have a really bumper acorn crop like we've had, the birds are going to be healthy coming in from the winter. So that normally means that they'll be gobbling more often. And then normally the hens will also kind of start nesting and stuff earlier because everything's just healthier and feeling better.
Right.
So we're excited about that. And it was a ridiculous acorn crop.
It was crazy.
Yes, sir.
I heard somebody say the other day the persimmon trees dropped acorns. It was that good. So that's pretty good.
I believe it.
All right, the turkey stamp. If you will, give us a brief history on that and kind of what led us to come up with that stamp and why that's important.
Yeah. So the idea of a stamp is not a new thing, obviously, to hunters. It goes back. The federal duck stamp was started in the 30s, the 1930s, and it has generated millions of dollars of revenue that's benefited waterfowl and waterfowl habitat. And then Mississippi, we started our state duck stamp in the 70s, so we've had that stamp. And then several other states have had a turkey or either upland game bird style stamp in the past. So, it's not a new idea. It's something we wanted. But as I mentioned earlier, back in the 2019s, 2020s that's when there was a growing concern from hunters in Mississippi. And MDWFP actually helped host a summit where all sorts of outdoor professionals, research people came in, and they discussed the state of the bird, basically. What are we going to do about turkeys? And the number one topic that come from that was that we need a dedicated source of funding for wild turkeys in the state. And you do that with a turkey stamp. And, that kind of went through the process of development and legislation, but, it all finally passed, and now it is official for this year that the stamp will go into effect. And the benefit of that is all revenue generated from the stamp, and everybody, and we can get into, the rules and who's exempt and stuff, but, just the kicker there is all the money revenue generated from that has to be earmarked to be spent on wild turkeys. So
that's good. So you know where your money goes.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
That's right. All right. So the cost of the stamp, I believe, is $10. Is that correct?
$10 for residents and then $100 for non-residents.
There you go.
Yeah.
And as far as exemptions, I know Keith and I were talking about it. Anyone who's 65 or older is
Correct.
exempt.
Youth.
Or
Youth.
16 or under 16.
Yes, sir. Under 16, and then the lifetime license holders.
Right.
And then anybody that's disabled.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Those are the
So
exemptions.
does that mean you don't have to get the stamp, or do you still need to have the stamp?
Right. So, yeah, we can get into that. So now, we've had mandatory harvest reporting in the state since 2022.
Right.
And we call that our game check system. And, hunters could go online and look at the numbers and all that stuff, and we keep it up to it by county level. But now game check is tied to the turkey stamp. So when you buy your turkey stamp, you get your 3 game checks for the year, which is your yearly limit of wild turkeys. So that's tied to that. So if you're exempt from having to purchase the stamp, you still have to get your game checks or physical tags if you want them. And you just go online or on the app or to any vendor and get those. And they're free for you, but you have to have those to be able to hunt. And the game checks we would want most people to use the app because it's simple and they're on your phone, et cetera, et cetera. But we still understand that some people don't like using smartphones, may not have a smartphone. So that's why this year we have the option to get physical tags. And that's why I know there's a little bit of confusion, people, but it's an either or kind of thing. You can either use the digital version, our game checks, on the app, or you can use those physical tags. And like if anybody's ever hunted out of state, it's just the way it works in Missouri or anything like that.
Right.
You get those physical tags, and then you have until 10 o'clock at night to call in and report the bird after you put the tag on them.
That's right.
Well, I've got a smartphone, but a dumb operator. And I've gone on there and looked. I can't really find where, but it's just in the regular game check.
Yes, sir. So
Part of the app.
Yes,
I got
sir.
the app.
Yes, sir. Under game check. So once you have purchased the wild turkey stamp, or the exempt turkey game check privileges, they'll show up under your game check. Like when you click game check, those 3 will be under there for your 3 birds for the year.
Okay.
Yeah. And another important thing to note is that if people do want the physical tags, they have to be purchased from an in-person licensed vendor. So you can't get them online or through the app. You have to go to what we call a point of sale. You have to go to a sporting goods store, one of our regional offices, a Walmart, et cetera, to get the physical versions there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really the easiest way to purchase it is through the app.
Yes,
Basically, that's the easiest way. You can just go online or go just download that app and you get it
Yes, sir.
immediately.
And it's the easiest way to go about it while you're hunting too, because so if you get checked by one of our conservation officers, the main rule is something has to be done with that bird before he's moved, before you move him from the harvest location. So if you have the physical tags, you have to write your name, notch the date and time, attach it to the leg, so now you're legal, but you still have to report him by 10 o'clock. If you have the app, you just begin the process right then in the field, and you're reporting him there. And the app records all your data, even if you don't have service, and then you're done. So
Right.
It takes like 1 minute, and you're legal. You've reported him. Everything's good to go.
All right. Another question I have is this: once you purchase your tag, whether it's online or through the app, do you actually receive a physical stamp? Okay. Once you get, so in other words, you will get a stamp in the mail. It'll be mailed to your. Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's a good thing to bring up. So since this is the first year of it, and it's commemorative, and everybody's excited, and we had a beautiful painting done for the stamp by Mr. Johnny Granberry there. Yes, everyone that purchases the stamp will get a physical copy of it mailed to them, regardless of how that method they purchase.
Is there anything they need to do with that stamp?
No, sir. So the stamp itself is not required for the legal reason. So
you don't place it on your license like a duck stamp or anything like that?
No, sir. None of that. It's what we call an electronic privilege, the stamp
Gotcha.
itself. It shows up on the app. It shows up for your hunting license. But no, you do not need to show the stamp to anybody to prove that you have it.
That is really just for you to keep.
It is.
So in other words, in future years, you may not get a stamp. Is that right?
Right. Those decisions haven't been decided yet, but it would be available, but it may be like a purchase extra kind of thing.
Right.
But just, since this is the first year and it's commemorative, everybody's going to get one to say.
That's right.
But yes, sir, you do not need that at all to prove you have it.
I've heard guys talk about they're going to start a collection of those stamps. And that's why I asked that question, is whether or not you actually get that stamp in the mail or not. So, but it sounds like you will. I mean, absolutely you will this year, but you may or may not in future years.
Yes, sir.
We'll
TBD
see.
on that.
Okay. All right.
I've got all of my life or sportsman's license
Cards, yeah.
First year, they first put them out.
Yeah.
And I've got every one of them up until I got my
Yeah, I keep mine as
senior
well.
license, and keep saying I'm going to get it framed and mounted somewhere, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I know a lot of people do that with duck stamps as well.
Yes,
a lot of people
absolutely.
keep the duck stamps. And we actually have that as an option on the website. If somebody wanted to, say, purchase additional stamps, et cetera, you can get on the website, and it's like the collector stamp or something. It's
Right.
not tied to the game checks if somebody wanted to have more than one or something like that, et
And it
cetera.
really, even on the old licenses, and I guess the new licenses, there's some fantastic art that is on those.
Oh, yeah. That's great.
Yes, sir.
All right. So what we want to really point out from this show today is if you're thinking about going turkey hunting, you need to stop and purchase this stamp, right? It's not optional. It's required.
Right. Yes, it is not. It is mandatory for everybody, whether you're on private or public land or non-resident or resident. It is 100% mandatory now. We have to have that.
And then if you are lucky enough to harvest a bird, you have to report that bird by 10 p.m. the same day you harvest the bird.
If you're using the physical tags, if you're using the
right.
app, you just do it all immediately upon harvest, and you're done.
That's right.
It's reported, and you're good to go.
That's right.
You can be done with it before the turkey gets cold.
That's right. He's still flopping. You right in there.
That's right. What about the outlook for turkey long term? I know that's an open-ended question, but there's a lot of concerns, not just here in Mississippi, but really all across the country, especially in certain parts of the country, where they're really concerned about habitat. What's your opinion on that? I mean, where are we headed?
Yeah, I think we're headed in a really good place, especially since the turkey stamp money. So all the money generated from that, is going to go back into either turkey conservation, habitat management, or research. So we're going to be able to take those funds and benefit both public and private lands. And then also, recently we're so excited. MDWFP announced that they're going to create a wild turkey lab at MSU, and they're going to have a NWTF endowed turkey professor at MSU coming up. So we will hopefully, so we'll hopefully be able to pair with that person, and use some of these turkey stamp dollars to do some really good research throughout the state for, any turkey questions we might have. But I believe the outlook's good. More and more people are concerned with turkeys. They're wanting to manage their habitat correctly, getting some fire on, getting some timber out of the way. And I think most people's minds are really in the right place. And
I agree.
I think the outlook's looking good.
A lot of people don't realize the resource we've got, the educators at Mississippi State, for the deer program, the turkey program coming up. There is a wealth of knowledge produced out there.
Second to none. I agree.
There really is, and just another little a little thing about what I used to do in the private lands program. A lot of people don't realize, we have private lands biologists throughout the whole state that will come out and look at your property with you for free. It's a free service we offer. You just submit a site visit request on our website. So if you had any concerns or want to, how can I make my habitat better? How can I benefit deer, turkeys, whatever you want, one of our biologists will come out and look at it with you and see how we can help you best. So
I've had them out years ago on our
I've had them out on my private property, and it's still implementing some of the suggestions they had that day. They've been very helpful. All right, Caleb, before we let you go, I'm going to ask you one very important question.
Scared me, bro.
What is it about turkey hunting that's exciting to you? I mean, what is it that got years ago when you were a young boy? Tell us that story. How did all that fire get lit underneath you?
Oh man, it goes back to my father. He's a diehard turkey hunter, one of the best turkey hunters I've ever met, and he always said, me and him are going to be like best friends, and he's going to take me every step of the way. So he brought me along, and I don't know I hate to sound cliche, but it really just is. It's so much more than a passion. It's an obsession, and there's so many things that's great about it. Being in the woods in the springtime when everything's coming alive. Being able to interact with the bird like we do, talking to him. It's that chess match, the will he, won't he, the intensity of it, when he's drumming right behind a thicket and your heart's just about to beat through your chest. I love every bit of it. It really is a great sport.
I agree.
We had all better be glad that Benjamin Franklin didn't get his way. He wanted the turkey to be the national bird, not the bald eagle.
Yeah, that's so true.
Yes, sir.
Things might be different.
We'd be hunting bald eagles. Right?
Well, Caleb, thank you so much for your time, man. We appreciate it, and thank you for all your hard work that you've done and continue to do. And we wish you the best this turkey season as well.
Thank you, sir. Same to y'all. I appreciate y'all having me.
All right. We'll see everybody next week. Get outside and enjoy the outdoors.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.